because your trauma is blocking you from tapping into your potential, tapping into your next level, and your lack of internal tools to get ahead in life, and may need an external person to help you push to the other side. So, because I know Gusabani, in next level, it will be maybe like in career, like to say, I want to move like in career. But now, do we usually, because even my workplaces, they don't offer like these wellnesses. How do we prepare ourselves mentally, even when you speak about like this next level?
Yeah, no, that's something. It's a mouthful, because of course when we think about mental health, we think about us as individuals, as just human beings, relationships and stuff. But we forget to see the work environment as well as part of that relationship, because you need to have a good relationship with your work environment, with your colleagues, with the space that we're in. And we always say, Guti, we pray for a good job with paying well, but we never actually think about Uguti, we need an environment which is healthy, which will make you not feel mentally ill, that will have people who are going to feed you holistically, so our concern is normally about finances. Is it paying well, and what title is it, which is always a problem. And we find our relationships and ourselves mentally, we suffer because of the work environment, and because we spend most of our time there. I mean, we spend more than 8 hours at work and less at home, and less with our partners and with our children and all of that. So if you're in a toxic environment the whole time, you're going to come back and feed that into your space. So I suppose this is what we need to start looking at, Tuguti, even us as human beings. How do we contribute to make sure where we are, as employees, as business owners, as how do we contribute to make sure that people that we interact with at work or in our spaces, we leave them be okay. We don't leave them frustrated and depressed. What is our contribution towards that? And I think that for me is very important, because that's where suicide ideations come from, because that is also where your strokes come from. This is where you find people are just, then we happy to say people are bipolar and all of that, and we happy to diagnose them, but we're not realizing of course there's two sides to your mental health, where you need to be healthy for your children and your husband and your partners, and yet you are physically, mentally, and emotionally abused at work. So I found that to be very profound. And as women navigating the future, as we're busy trying to navigate the future, it's also a very mentally straining and draining journey on its own, because we start looking at other women and we start putting pressure on ourselves to say, yo, mina ngikuphi, yo, omathabiso bala, oh, mamsibise bala, mina sengikuphi. And we really put too much pressure on ourselves, because we start looking at what it is to be an inspirational woman. We equate it to what you are professionally, what you earn, what your title is, that kind of thing. And I think if we can change that mindset, we'll be a better community and a better society.
Yeah, I think I just want to touch on something that you just spoke about now. to say sometimes like there's so much pressure, even like within us, like our sector, our networks, when we're actually also profiling the inspirational women, we most of the time we will have these nominations, and then there will be like people must vote for you, and I received like those questions actually from the people that were nominated. And for me, I said to them, no, I don't think you need to be paid or like to be voted for a good work, for being inspirational. I know that like for awards, we are not an award like organization, we are just a network organization. So we did this because we believe like in women that we need to bridge this gap, but like we also need to teach ourselves that you can even like show up like for yourself to say I am an inspirational woman without like other being validated by other people, because obviously that's where like it start like to even like give like a low self-esteem. Others, even when they were told that you were nominated, one person will ask, who nominated me? Because that's how they value themselves, to say there is no one who will like be inspired by my story, or there is no one like who will nominate me. But also is the culture to build that culture, to say show appreciation. And if like someone has inspired you, it doesn't mean to be big thing that maybe like uvele TV for us to be inspired by unkla. You can be inspired by a story just for a person ukuthi kuko wonke ama-challenge abhekane nawo, but she came up victorious and she's still showing up like for themselves. That is very inspiring, like to other people who are looking. But Tina, we start like to believe you can only be inspirational because you have achieved this much, and that's where like even pressures they start like ukuthi siyifile ke manje, sufile pressure ke manje suba trauma like or even like depression that engafanelekile. But the other thing that I pick up like in this statement was the blockage, the trauma that we get, especially you touched on the environment, the work environment, the toxic work environment, that you find Luguti, just because my previous boss was a toxic boss, then I carry that even like in my next job. Like I come there not being umatabi, so who's a go-getter, who's on the tick, but I come with fear to say, even I think like I read somewhere when someone was saying this a person was asking for a leave, and she granted them. She said, okay, fine, you can have like a leave. And the person was like, are you not going to ask me where I'm going? So you see, he's coming with what, like in the previous job, they were doing to her. So that has become like a trauma, because now she feels that she needs to be asked, she needs to report every step that she takes. If she take a time off, she must tell the boss to say, no, I'm not. So there's so much traumas, and sometimes like they lead us not to grow like in our careers. Mamsebi, ngibone uthi ngathi sikhuluma nawe now. Ngingakuvali.
No, I related a lot because looking at the point of where we are now, sigijima senza imisebenzi uNkulunkulu asibizele yona. Yes, we are getting paid. It is true. We are getting paid, but the truth is we go beyond. We go extra mile. And when you are working with humans, trust me, you are working with a lot. You're working with humans in terms of their them physically. When they approach you, you connect with them because you can tell with this person akekho right. Umbhekile nje indlela agqoke ngayo, indlela a structure sheke ngayo, uyambona ukuthi lo muntu as much as eze la ezofuna i-protection order, but this person has been through a lot emotionally. When they start to speak with you, when they open their mouth, uyamuzwa nje ukuthi lo muntu engikhuluma naye angikhulumi nomuntu oyedwa la uyedwa lo muntu engi-interact naye, but
already sengizohlangana nabantu abawu-10. Spiritually uke uzithole uze ukuthi the position engikuyona manje kube ngiyakwazi ngabe ngiyaqhuma ngiphuma ngesilingi, and that time your managers are not available. They're in their offices focusing kwezinye izinto, uwena ubhekane nalesi simo lesi, and ngaleso sikhathi uzama ukuzicontainer, uzama ukuzibamba kwi-position, kodwa immediately you leave that space, all these things zisala nawe, zisala zilimaza wena. And ngaleso sikhathi usebenze kangaka wena, you will find yourself networking, like connecting this person nama-sources angamsiza. Uze kuwe kwi-office le-domestic violence, uzithola uyongena kwa-maintenance office because you feel ukuthi this person also need maintenance. Uzithola uyongena kwa-children's court. Your colleagues don't understand you. They're like, hayibo, nangu sisi efuna ukungena yonke indawo, nangu sisi efuna ukugxuma. They don't even understand ukuthi mentally you are drained, and uyadinga indawo la uzothulela khona yonke leyo nto leyo. Come the point whereby your managers will be like, hayibo, uMamSibi is outstanding, uyasebenza, uyapusha, abantu bethu bafika la basizakale. People are like, hayi lo uthanda ukuzenza ngcono. They are draining you, they are disturbing i-mindset yakho, not understanding ukuthi akusuwena uzikhethelanga, isimo okusona, ubizo lwakho, you are responding kulento uNkulunkulu akuphe yona. But at the end of the day, the truth is, alone wena, you need someone to be there for you. Because remember, when we're talking about the next level, the next level, even in the position onikezwe yona, uMamSibi esi-court intermediary, next level yakhe is saying esi-court intermediary angifuna ukuphelela la, but ngifuna ukuthi ngiyi-court intermediary ngibe ngisize umphakathi, ngibe ngisize wonke lama client engibhekana nawo. That is affecting i-mental status sakho. Uma ngabe ungadili nakho, you will break down. Uzothi usukwenzile exceptionally, usubongiwe, usunqonyiwe, abantu bezwe kuthiwa uMamSibi akasekho, ngoba ingqondo kaMamSibi iyashutha down kwaphela ngaye. Awuzange uzuzinika ithuba lokuzinakekela, noma awuzange uthole umuntu ozo-identify kubona ukuthi udinga ukunakekelwa kusiphi isimo. So that is why bengifeel ukuthi ubuze umbuzo ngempela oyiqiniso ukuthi kahle kahle ke thina as much as sifuna ukumuva, how do we prepare ourselves? How do we make sure ukuthi uma ngifika la kule position ngizokhona futhi ukusustain my health mindset, ngizokhona ukuqinisekisa ukuthi ngiyaphila? Because at the end asigcini ngokuba abasebenzi kuphela, we still need to go back emakhaya, siyoba omama, siyoba amakhosikazi, sibe enkonzweni, siba amadodakazi, konke lokho kukuwe alone. But then if singathola this lineup asipha yona namhlanje, singahamba kahle sisinhlakama ngabe silekelela ezoshiya sinalo mqondo ukuthi what can we share with our colleagues, ukuthi yes, we're talking about you leveling up, moving from one level to another, but how do you prepare your mindset ukuthi mawufika lapho ungasitholi so fall down, ungasakwazanga ukuqhubeka?
Yeah, I think into ebalulekile is the interpretation of next level. What do we mean by in next level? And for each of us is different. Abanye next level means promotion, means growth in your business, means abanye it just means growth within. And I think that's what you're touching on a lot, where you are growing in being in touch with your spiritual self and with your authentic self, where you say, of course I can grow to be a CEO or to whatever, but it's not necessarily what gives me pleasure or what gives me excitement to say I've gone up to the next level. My next level is to see, how do I reach the people in the rural areas? How do I reach the women that are not seen? How do I raise the flag for our grandmothers and mothers that abasemakhaya? And so therefore that is my next level, and then omunye umuntu says, you know what, my next level is, I don't care who I stand on, as long as I get to whatever the next level is or the growth that I want. And I think that's what we need to work on as women and as human beings, to say it cannot be an achievement to be proud of if wherever you want to be means killing other people's spirits, other people's morals, other people's mental health status, their self-confidence, their self-esteem. If you are the cause of that breakdown of somebody else, I don't care whether you become the president of this country, you are empty. As much as you think you've grown, you've gone up, you've actually you are dead. You've sort of taken away. You were better off being a helper, a house, maid or whatever it is, that than where you are now after you've killed so many spirits. And that, people speak about karma, but it's at some point in your life it catches up with you. And I always make a reference to a Mamezala story where you get married and your Mamezala mistreat, and now in Masu Mamezala you do the same thing, and just passing on the generational curses and all of that and pain. I think we need to be those women that say, my boss or my whoever it was that was before me treated me this way. I know exactly how it feels. Therefore, I would not do it to somebody else. And because I know what it feels like, I would actually say to Matabi, so you know what, I don't think, and I'm not sure if you're aware of what you're doing to this other person, but this is what I'm observing and this is what is happening. We need to be brave enough to stand in the gap for other people, to speak up for the voiceless, to sort of just be your sister's keeper. If I think every morning when I wake up, I have this picture of this woman boss that mistreated me so badly every day, it makes me say, Guti, the next person that comes in my office, I do not want to be that woman. And so it's important that we share these stories, we share how it makes, allow ourselves to be vulnerable for people to understand, Guti, as much as I look like I've got it all covered, I also break down. As much as I look like I've made it to the ceiling, it's hot out there, the higher you get and then whatever happens. So all of those things we need to share, because otherwise if we don't, people don't know, and they think, it's good that you just ride the wave and ushaye noma ubani omtholayo endleleni. So that's what I think basically for me, to ever be called is inspirational in any way, is to allow myself to be authentic and allow myself to be vulnerable, to speak my truth, to not be scared to look weak or to look defeated, but to just say I acknowledge ukuthi empilweni kunezinkinga ezikanje, and I have been part of it, so I'm speaking from experience. Because sometimes we want to come across as thina mfana akekho umuntu othinta mina, and that is so wrong, because we are sending the wrong message to people, because it's through these hurts, it's through these pains, it's through these sufferings that we become who we are. And so we need to share those stories.
No, I think uhamba ngayo impela, especially also when you're speaking about when we grow like in certain position. I'll speak about like positions, because it's one of the studies that I want to do, especially like in women in leadership, because you find the Guti is either they don't last long, and we also get obsessed with this thing, Oguti, I'm the only one. In the way ukuthi you find yourself usuyablock ukuthi abanye abantu bangabe basangena. The question also I would ask from you would say, have you seen like increase like abantu besifazane who are coming like for counseling? Because for me, I think when I was growing like in my career, what I also did for myself, when I decided to go and do the MBA, I chose a field where it will more focus on my leadership, like where it will more reflecting on me as a leader, like what type of a leader do I want to be, and what things do I need to look at. And it really challenged me. I think that's why I also started like to see which there are things that I need to deal with in order for me to be this great leader. You know, I lost my parent at a very young age. I need to deal with that trauma, because as much as like at some point I block it out there, but in order for me ukuthi ngagcini like sengiyikhiphela kwabanye abantu or isingidisturba, I need to walk back that mile and then ngibone ukuthi ngempela like did I heal with that. You also spoke about ukuthi mhlambe like you were bad treated by your previous employer, and then you carry it and you become like a leader, and you become this leader that is angry, you know, just because like you were treated bad, just because like someone believed good, no, you have to wait until like you are old to become like a manager. So you don't even believe what like young people they can be. So you become this angry and bitter person. So and because also our African culture, I would say culture or norms, is that we don't like indaba zo psychology yabo nje yonke lento leyo izinto nje engenzeki ebezingenzeki. I think now like we are really trying like to get to that. And I think like within the network it's something that I also kind of like preach to say, like going to the gym ejimini awuyi ngoba kwesinye isikhathi usuyisidudla, abanye they do, like nami ngibonile ukuthi hayi ngathi sengiyakhuluphala manje, but I think they always say ukuthi ku-good ukuthi ube healthy nje, udle kahle, uhambe ejimini, exercise, kufane njengayo i-mental health ukuthi hamba like ilokhu uyi-check-a nje ukuthi am I still okay, am I still fine, you know, ngikhathele, how do I take time off? Because kwesinye isikhathi you also need that voice ezokukhumbuza ukuthi yazi you need to take some time off, you need to be, you know, because kwesinye isikhathi mhlambe like abangani bazothi no, keep going, you know, like you are a woman in leadership, and you'll find out yourself ukuthi manje ukhathele and you are bitter, unalezi zinto nje zigcwele zinqabelene like zikuwe. So how do we make sure ukuthi even thina as abantu besifazane, as we are empowering each other, we also include these things ukuthi awuhambi, mina-ke ngiyareferana bandla, ngiyareferana, ngitshela kahle ukuthi akuhambe, because nami as umngane wakho kwesinye isikhathi uyabani nami nginezinto zami ziningi zile, kungcono nhla uyabhadarwa for ukuthi akhulume nawe and umsebenzi wakhe awufundele. Mina kwesinye isikhathi ngizokunikeza i-advice just because of ngendlela yami nje engiyibonayo elula futhi ukuthi ayiphuma kuyo, and angeke zikusize ngoba uzophuma namhlanje kodwa kusasa futhi izobibhekane nawe ungalali ebusuku mina ngilele. So how do we even like silishumayele man, silishumayele leli izwi leli lokuthi like abantu ngempela thina ngizokhuluma nje ngathi as we are navigating, we promote, we encourage each other as friends ukuthi akuhambi uyodila nalezi zinto lezi, abanye ba-rape bebancane, that thing like it's something that is inside you manje, and futhi manje sesinalento leyo ukuthi I don't know, I think angazi noma lifensinyana igama le-anxiety, to say like no, I've got anxiety, but you know, like someone said to me, anxiety is not ukuthi isuke icala manje, it's traumas that unazo qaleni nje ukuthi manje ngoba usumdala seziyavuka. How do we as friends recommend ukuthi akuhambi uyobona uNhla, akuhambi uyobona usibanibani uzokusiza?
You know, people will rather gravitate more towards having a life coach than a therapist, and I want to say it's good to have both, because you find ukuthi we are covering izinto ezingafani, and the reason why people would gravitate more towards that and refrain from going to therapy, it's because we have the mindset of once you are a woman leader, you're an inspirational woman, you are strong, you are tough, you've got it all together, you are sorted. And we associate going to therapy with breaking down, with being weak, with being sick, with being, you know, all of that. So it's almost as if you find Uguti, people would say, even if they come, I don't want people to know that I'm coming to therapy, because then bazocabanga ukuthi I'm breaking down. And they're not realizing ukuthi prevention is better than cure. You know, you just want to make sure that you have someone who's got your mental health state at the best interest for you, so you uti deal with, because also it's very hard on top, you know, there's a lot of pressures, there's a lot of stresses that come with being a woman in leadership. So you do need someone then to look out for your mental health, because otherwise uzologuthi when I've got it, and then you crash, you know. And again, you are raising an important thing, Kuti. As a woman, Jay, you have your own stresses that you've been growing up with. Njoba Osho, which is some were raped, some were abused, some are being abused in their marital states, in their households. And sometimes you find Uguti, by virtue of being a leader at work, you find that you are a threat to the people that you are around. You are a threat to your partner, you are a threat to your family. So they want to make sure Uguti, they prove to you Uguti ungaba boss gupi but like higher. So there will be a lot of stress that you will carry from home, just because you are in this position, and just because people want to show you ukuthi lalela asihlangene nalo msebenzi wakho. So it's important that you look out for your mental health, for yourself, and also for your family, and also for your employees, or for your subordinates, or your even for your leaders, because uthola ukuthi khona abantu abangaphatheki emsebenzini because unale anger, unale depression adila nayo, that anayo but don't want to deal with. And it's so difficult to manage that person because we're in denial. And as Black communities mostly, because I'll say that because when you ask do people come, Black women don't come as often as they should, but white women, boy, now they have you know, I am going for my session, and they are, it's known to the office, they say it out loud because they know the benefits of it. So now we need to start talking about it, about being vulnerable and saying, you know, and saying, but you know, I suffer from anxiety, I've had depression, and this is what I did. Sometimes we look at people, they having the same symptoms that we had, and we can see where they are leading, but because asikwazi ukuthi sisho umbuzo ukuthi ngazelaphi ngizombuka ke amane afe naye, because I do not want to come across or to be the one okuthiwa naye umbona nje naye uneyinkinga, you know, sifuna ukuthi umbona nje yena she's all together, ithina break her down. So it's important to just be okay with not being okay. It is fine. It is fine to not be in Bogoto. Honestly, this thing of being a rock is going to kill us one day. And unfortunately, it's so sad that every year we're saying the same thing. Abantu besifazane are the ones that are causing the most stress and depression to other women in the workplace than men do. And we say this the least. You know, woman to woman is more, and men to men is less. Because amadoda wona, they cover each other. They want to make sure ukuthi bona they remain in these positions. So they drag each other, ngisho bebheda babe on top, babe right, bakhavane, bangabi na stress, bacindezele Tina as well. But Tina, as women, we don't do that because we want to be the only one. Now, I'm the only Black woman, I'm the only woman in the boardroom and amongst the men, and we feel Guti, that is something to be proud of. Honestly, if you can't be proud of that, when your sisters, you know, Guti, they are worthy enough, and they are capable, but we would rather have them babe phansi ngoba ufuna ukuthi kubonakale wena kuphela. No one would take away your shine. If you've got it, you've got it. If it's your gift, it's your gift. Just don't think ukuthi uzoba ngcono ngabanye. And I think that is the most important thing. And your pain will not go away just because you are passing on the pain to someone else. You know, I always think about this woman that I talk about that has made it her daily duty to make sure that I suffer in the workspace. But when I look at her, I always pray for her healing. And I say, you know, I hope one day you heal so that you don't have to bleed on other people that never hurt you. And that's the prayer that I have for every other woman that is busy bleeding on other people that never hurt them. Please find healing for yourself.
Oh, hayi Shem Sithando, siyabonga kakhulu. Sibonano ngiyambona laphaya, hayi akasafuni lutho ekaze bambambe phi Jehova, but sijabulela kona lokho ukuthi uhamba nathi uyasizwa. Yazi Sithando, indlela unpack ngayo lento njengoba usibona nje engathi uyasilolozela, usilolozelela ukuthenini get yourself together, because on the 26th the language that we will be speaking must also have a solution, because abantu basaba ukuqala ngenxa yalento yokuthi who is going to cover me on my journey. Basaba ukuqala ngenxa yokuthi they are afraid ukuthi am I going to be able to carry all this pressure alone. So ave kungithokozisa Machamani ukuthi we're going to this conference, sizobe abantu bethu sibaphethele this thing yokuthi njengoba sishilo weclass batshelile abantu asibafihlela ngasithanda, sibatshelile ukuthi ngomhla ka-26 kuyojika izinto, abantu abeze be-prepared, because uma ngabe ubekade eyitshela ukuthi next level wakhe ilo eza naye uyofika laphaya a-double up. Sibatshelile abantu ukuthi uma ngabe bekade ethi uzoqala ngonyaka ozayo uyaqala unyaka manje. Konke lokho ebekade kungenzekanga manje ngomhla ka-26 thina sithi unyaka omusha womuntu wesifazane okholelwa kuyena, because women navigating the future is about women who believe in themselves first, then felt ukuthi they need to connect others ukuze bakhona ukuhamba. But i-challenge bekade sizoba nayo ekugcineni ukuthi sibanikeze abantu leli thuba lokuthi grow up, sibanikeze abantu leli thuba lokuthi level up, sibanikeze abantu ithuba lokuthi take action now, start this, do this for yourself. But at the end of the day, singabanikeze icebo lokuthi how are they going to accommodate this when it comes to their mental health, because this mental health issue uma sikhuluma ngayo, umuntu waqala nje wathi mental health bazokutshela ukuthi ukhuluma ngohlanya, and you're like right, ngimina ngumamsibi nje nginje nina libona intombi enhle ngisiyafika isikhathi sokuthi ngizwe ukuthi ngikhathele. You can attest to that. I once came to you, mina mathathe ngengayinikela ngamlanda ngamtshela ngathi sisi khathele ukuthi ukuphi uthini njengamanje ayikho into engizoyishintsha. Ngiyezwa mina mamsibi ukuthi angizazi noma mathiwa angibuyele emsebenzini after this leave ngizobuyela na, ngizocope na. What I enjoyed, what I love, what I respect is this challenge, your mental health. It doesn't mean ukuthi you need to go through sessions, you need to see someone. It says say this out, say it loud, say it to someone you trust, you would get help. Ngasizakala umbuza ngabuya sengimtshela ngathi hayi bontombi angiphili ngibuya ngokuzolala ngangibhizi lapho ngiqobo green pepper no red pepper ngathi yey ngiyaphila. I love the fact that she was not coming after me to check how are you doing, are you fine, ugcina ukhonile ukubhekana nesimo bokusona, because people basaba leyo nto leyo, basaba ukuthi they will say their challenge, then bazonakwa ngayo, bazokhunjuzwa, say it once. As long as you trust that person, say it, put it on the plate. The person uzoyithatha, I don't know, either she prayed for me, I don't know, either she went out wayokhuluma nomhlaba wotshela ukuthi whoever or whatever is affecting umamsibi mayimiyeke nje iphume kuyi. I don't know ukuthi i-intervention kanhla yaba yini, but trust me, it worked wonders to myself in a way yokuthi by the time I said to you I'm okay, I meant I'm okay, ngabuyela ngashutha ngaqhubeka. So into esingayi-advise ukuthi Thina esabantu abamnyama abesifazane abasha kulesikhathi samanje, we are very fortunate. We are very fortunate to have you Nhla in this space whereby when we come to you, we believe ukuthi you will connect to us ngey'ndlela zonke ey'hlukahlukene. Akukho ozokushiya. You will connect to us in terms of where we're coming from, where we are, where we're going. You will take us back in terms of each generation yethu ukuthi phela mamsibi wena usugijima kakhulu usufuna ukubamba eyomachamane eyodwa. What about ekagogozwane lo wakukhulisa what weight akushiya nalo? Imiphi imisebenzi okumele ngabe uyalekelela kuyona ukuze ukwazi ukuqhubeka lo msebenzi? Because as I said, sisemsebenzini sikuyona sikuma positions esikuwona, but at the end of the day asisebenzi umsebenzi wethu lo thina esibekelwe wona. Kukhona la esifila pha khona le gap yokuthunywa, and mawuthunyiwe, trust me, you will be challenged. Trust me, you will be overwhelmed. Trust me, you will be drained. And le anxiety uMathabi sakhuluma ngayo ngiyakuthanda ngoba uyaphinda uchaze sithanda ukuthi iqiniso lithi thina we feel like anxiety ngibambe manje. No, dala sagula. It's just that besilokhu sikubalekela siyivala ngengubo, sivuke ekseni sifake iruji, sithi inkophe sihambe siyoqhubeka. Kanti kukhona lento esibuyisela phansi. Into ebuhlungu ukuthi uma singakhulumi esabantu besifazane, we will break down. And at the end, yonke lento esiyisebenzele guys, lokufunda kwethu okungaka, lokuyinikela kwethu okungaka in leadership yakwa Women Navigating the Future, lamathembe sinawo ukuthi we are going to the next level, kuyofana nokuthi asenzanga lutho because angeke size sikwazi ukwenza singenayo impilo. So kukuthina ukuthi njengamanje whatever ntshumayelo esinayo, whatever events esiwahostayo, let us involve mental health not as a challenge but siubeke on table to say i-solution isikhona. Abantu abahambe bayoconsulta konhla, abantu abahambe bayoconsulta ndawana thizeni, abantu abalithola usizo, abantu abakhuluma. Because as usho Matha, sometimes people will utilize us ngoba bayazi ukuthi siyakwazi ukukhuluma, but the truth is asibizelwanga leyo nkonzo leyo. Therefore it's our duty to say, yes, I'm listening to you, yes, I understand your stress, but take these numbers, this person will help you. Ithina Nhla okumele sinifake kwi-market, not saying sinifunela ibhizinisi or sifuna imali, but with the belief yokuthi when we refer our people to you, they will get usizo lwangempela and bayobuya basishayele izandla basincome ngoba siyawazi umsebenzi obizwe lona sithandwa sami ukuthi uyawuhlonipha, uyawuthanda, and mawuwenza uyawenzisisa. Ngikubonile uku-next level already my darling with i-profession okuyona. Uthathe i-profession yakwa-psychologist wayinyusela phezulu, wayithatha wayibeka obala, wayithatha wayifaka endaweni. Sasa bathe sithi siyathula siyalalela, wathi yazini akukho la engangeni khona lo muntu, ungena yonke indawo, ungena niseyinkonzweni, abefundisi bebodwa sebelishumayelile iBhayibheli. We need someone who can come and say leli izwi uma lingena lifinyelela kuwena mental wise, ngabe uya-aligna nalo, uyakhona na kuligraspa. Walithatha walifaka emphakathini, walifaka komama, and we appreciate that. Therefore, we promising ukuthi as from now on asizosaba to talk with our colleagues about you, asizosaba to talk with our family members about you, asizosaba to talk with us. Nkosi yami ngicela singasali machamani, nathi we need to go and consult.
Siyabonga siyabonga wemamNgcoya. You know, I think like uthema usulokhuzana usuqeda usuyigoqa inkulumo yakho wathene kumele ukuthi sibhekane. Mina ngivele ngayigoqa ngathi deala naleli demon obhekene nalo. Kubalekile. It may not be like a demon ngempela, but it can be something that has been bothering you. If ungekho right, for me I always say ukuthi mangabe ungekho right, kunokuthi uphume like uyo try to distract, try to find something that will bring you to yourself, because once you disconnect from who you are, then that's when like we talk about like this alignment. And mina ke I think as I said ukuthi like ngiyalishumayela because I believe ukuthi ukuze ube a good leader and ukwazi ukuthi lead abantu, ukwazi ukuthi ukhule futhi nakuma position, because mina bengiyingane ngabo mama ngabo unkosikazi konke lokhu kusha kimi uyabona. So khona ezinye izinto ekufuna ukuthi like ngihanjiswe ngazo ekuqaleni bekungcono because ama families besihlala bebonke bela umama ezala hlala nomakoti wakwakhe konke thina sifuna vele manje like ukuhlala nabantu, sihlala emakwethu, siphume emakwethu sibancane, but kukhona ezinye izinto ezohamba zihamba zikuxaka. Umama, unkosikazi, uyiboss emsebenzini, nangunonhla naye, nangunothembi ngapha kuningi. So you need to create a structure that will be able ukuthi ufunction kahle ube like umuntu. So nje nami ngiyamemeza futhi ngithi akuhambi uyodila naleli demoni noma ngabe idemoni noma yini le ekuphatha kabi. Njengade sisho nje ukuthi khuleka before uze nge-26, because the atmosphere yange-26 uzohlangana nabantu that are operating like in this positive energy. In this energy le ezokuconfuse ikwenza ukuthi nawe ngathi like hayi ngihamba nabo but mawuphuma ngaphandle bese usuyasala, and now like you'll feel ukuthi how bona baqhubeka nje kanti thina ingoba thina siyazi ukuthi masikhathele siyahamba siyobona abantu abanjengonhla sithi hey sekukuningi manje ake ngikhulume, you know. Kubalulekile. So and the other thing that we are not using, and ngifuna ukuyisho la ukuthi uNdla like he's also a founder of Sibani kanje uSibani into manje sengikhohlela uSibani Solwana.
You're muted, Mata.
How isingivalele nene. So ngithi iSibani Solwana sihost ama-retreat, and yazi ngihlale ngibahale abantu baseThekwini ukuthi baze babe nenhlanhla, kodwa hayi abantu baseThekwini angibazi ukuthi banjani. That's why thina sizomthatha lo muntu ngoba eGolden yabaya nje ade ngisendele nje iy'thombe sasiye khona la si-recruiter khona sithi amakhandi ethu athi ukuphila kancane. Yazi i-atmosphere like uyaphila ukuba like ku-retreat uyokhuluma nje, ukhulume ngabantu abangeke baze bakhulume ngomsebenzi, abazokhuluma nje ngawe like nawe u-reflect. So ngiyanigqugquzela ukuthi bhekani ipage leli leSibani Solwana mangabe kunama-event baseThekwini, awu ngize ngifise sengathi like ngandiza ngibe khona, hayi ake ni-attendeni bo. And I'm telling you, uyophuma nje like nawe uyibona ukuthi yazini impilo yami yazi yashintsha. Asivalele isiwemi kaNgcoya ngoba phela manje like uthe usaphuma esibhedlela ngibona ukuthi usufikile ekhaya. Akusivalelise-ke usaleke ususivalela no-August wethu lo ukuthi wena uthini-ke sowuvala nje.
No, thank you for having me. I really appreciate the platform. I've always appreciated you ladies as well for the passion that you have for other women, because you know people people think you have time to do this and they don't know how much energy goes to it. And knowing ukuthi sometimes it's like you're taking a horse to the river and you're making it drink yourself, because sometimes you know ukuthi you come up with these topics because you know something speaks to your spirit. There's a lot of people that need it, but those people that need it they don't want to bring themselves towards that help that you're providing them. And I think for me, sivala i-Women's Month before kwilanga elikhulu la ngomhla ka-26 is to say we need to pray for our hearts to open to learning, to be open to receiving things, because they are complaining that we're not receiving things, but things are given to us and we don't avail ourselves to receive. And it's important to recognize ukuthi where are you lacking yourself, and that happens when you remove a mask. A lot of women are covered in makeup and weave, but a lot of it is the mask over and on top of all of that weave and makeup, because makeup is supposed to make you look beautiful, but now we use it to cover our pain, to cover our wrinkles out of stress, to cover you know our anger and all of that. And I think sometimes I always say it is important to demask, remove i-title ka-Mrs., ka-CEO, whatever title that you have, and ube uthola inhlanhla nje ingane yasemakhaya la usuka khona, ingane kagogo, ingane kamkhulu, and look at yourself in the mirror and say, what do I have here? And work with it, you know. And when people go to the conference on the 26th, I want them to also, I know in most cases I had that too at some point, where you think ngizoya laphayana bafike bakhulume ngama big jobs, babe ama-CA, babe ama-psychologists, babe odokotela, mina ngiyini. I want you to understand ukuthi no matter where you are, you could be a cleaner, you could be, you know, could be unemployed, you have a huge value in somebody else's life. You are important. You have, you know, you have life that you can give to other people. You have your own next level just by allowing yourself to say, who am I, and share that gift that we were born with, because we were all born with an ability to change somebody else's life. Let's not underestimate what we have and what we were born with. And that's what my message is to every woman out there. We can, we will, together, let's do it. Opportunities are there. Let's not sit at home and undermine ourselves. We are the next level.
We are next level. We are the next level. Sifikile sigalelekile. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mama Ngcoya. Usibongele kakhulu nasekhaya ukuthi nje hayi siyabonga, and ukhuluma into ebalekile ukuthi hey abantu bangasibona nje sila. Ade ngitshela uMama Msiki ukuthi bekumele ukuthi ngilale kancane. Ngiyabona nawe amehlo akho nje ukuthi akhathele. Nami nje yaba nje phansi kwale ibuko lesi bekumele ukuthi ngilale, kodwa because umsebenzi usukhethile esingayikhethanga langa wona, then uyasidinga ukuthi like sibe la. And I'm grateful for all of you ladies, because I've seen you faithful serving, you know, like in whatever that God has called you ukuthi niserve kuwo faithfully, noma ngabe kuthiwa like babili noma kuthiwa bathathu abafikayo, kodwa like we show up like fully, and making sure like we deliver with excellence. So thank you so much, ladies. And this year sitting 2016, now we are ready. That's why I think like sivuke ngo-5 ade ngithi ngisathi ngizolala kancane, but akwenzekalanga, ilanga vele ligijima inqaba. But like lokho akunendaba, umsebenzi mawenzakalile abantu bezwile. So sithi nje ungasali-ke nge-26 August sise-Alan Gray, ithikithi 250, but ngithe kuwe awungavumeli 250 ukuthi kube kuwe. Mangabe ungenawo, sidonse ngamaphinifa, sikhona thina bomama sizobona ukuthi iplans lenza kanjani ukuthi uhlanganyele nathi. So sesilala Mama Msibi, ngeke ngisakufaka sisi, kusafanele kusiye kule meeting le enye yangale eceleni. Siyabonga kakhulu babayini.
Thank you, Papa. Thank you, Sandra.
Bye.
Bye.